All right, take two. We're going to try this again. Apparently, Google has not got its bugs taken care of. Every time I start a Hangout, it always sounds chipmunky, and I have to stop it and redo it again. So I don't know what the deal is with Google and their stuff, but they need to get together. I don't know if it's my webcam. It could be. I've never heard of anybody else having these problems. I don't know. But let me take the time to make sure this one's going to go all right, and we'll see what happens here. Just bear with me. If you're watching this later, you can fast forward through this part and see what we're going on here to make sure this is going to do right. Ian. Yeah, I don't know. Okay, good. This one's working. Let me take a second and put this on all my social channels so they can find it. All right. All right. Now, what we're going to talk about today, this particular Hangout vlog is going to be entitled Hangout Vlog Anniversaries, a year of writing in 2015 and looking ahead into 2016. It's been a very long time, months, since I've had a Hangout or live event, which is what this one is. And I've been putting it off because there's just a lot of stuff that's been going on. Obviously, with NaNoWriMo going on, if I can remove this lower third here without it crashing. With NaNoWriMo going on, I won, so I was really excited about that. That was a very long process during the month of trying to get that done. So it was took a lot of time. And in addition to that, trying to get private lessons together and all this writing stuff I've been doing, really kicking it and producing a lot of content and things like that. I haven't had a lot of time to do many videos at all. I've still somehow managed to release one every week, though, even if it's not a lesson video. Usually they've been performance videos lately with me performing, singing with the Gilbert family and all that. But so let's talk about, there's really no structure to this right now. I'm just going to try to do the best I can. First of all, if you're watching this live, you can actually chat. If you're watching it on the live thing, for some reason they don't allow comments anymore for live videos. They haven't been for the past month or two. So there is a place you can chat on the live page. If you're watching this on the actual page, the live stream, you can chat on the around the right side, just below the video. If you're watching this on that page. So right now I'm actually in the live control room, kind of keeping an eye on what's going on here, and trying to see, making sure everything's running smoothly. It looks like it is. I don't think there's any more. If I unpause this video, let's see if it's still going right. But let me take. Okay, good. No more chipmunky sounds. Okay, so what I usually have to do, and if you have this problem, and I keep forgetting to do this because it's been a long time since I've done a live Hangout. What I usually have to do is open the window. When it opens, it says go live. There's an option to start the broadcast. Well, don't start the broadcast. Just let it sit and do its thing for a minute while you're messing around with settings. Then immediately close that window. Okay, and then go back to your live settings, your live event, and say go live now again, because technically I haven't started it, so it shouldn't erase that Hangout. And what that does is it kind of resets my webcam so that it can actually start reading it correctly. So I'm guessing it's probably not a Google issue, it's probably my webcam issue. Now the one I'm using is a very old webcam. It's a Logitech C2720, something like that, if I look at it. I don't know, C27 something. And it's the older version of that, but that's the one I'm using. It still kind of works, so I just have to remember next time not to do that. So what are we talking about today? We're talking about what's been accomplished in 2015, some multiple anniversaries that I've had, and looking ahead towards 2016. So let's start with the multiple anniversaries, okay? Let me get my little checklist up here. First of all, I've had several anniversaries that are music related. and I'm very excited about that. A lot of people ask me what kind of guitars I play, especially acoustic guitars. And I've got two that I play mainly, okay? That is my Martin DCX-1E, okay? And that is the main Martin that I have in a lot of my, earlier videos that are probably a couple years back, at least a year, around 2014 and before, is mainly my Martin guitar. It's the Martin DCX-1E. Now, they don't make those anymore. You can probably still buy them over the counter, as it were, from people on eBay or, other places like that. I'm sure they're still around. Just Martin doesn't just sell that model anymore. They actually have they still have the DX line. So if you just look for the DX line, if you go to ericbeatty.com, see that little blog down there? If you go to that website and do a /shop, ericbeatty.com/shop, then you'll be able to, it'll take you straight to Amazon, and it'll allow you to search for all these products that I'm mentioning, and you can just buy it from there. And what that does is Amazon gives me a little bit of an affiliate commission, like 6% or whatever, and that helps fund all the stuff I do here on YouTube, all the stuff I do on my blog. It helps show your support for my channel. It doesn't cost you anything extra. It's just an extra way of saying thank you for all the content you produce. And if you're going to shop for it anyway, why not just shop for it with that link to help support my content and everything. So that's all that is. ericbeatty.com/shop. And what you would search for is Martin DX, okay? They have a DX-1AE, I believe that's what it is. And it's the closest thing to what I've got, except it doesn't have a cutaway. So I don't know which one the model is specifically for the cutaway, but that Martin guitar I have now had for 5 years. This past November 2015. I've had it for 5 years. And let me tell you, I still play it. I still use it for lessons a lot of times. And haven't played it as much because of the other guitar I'm about to mention. But I really love it. It still sounds amazing whenever I play it. I highly recommend that guitar if you're a Martin fan, or if you have been playing, an old laminate guitar for years and you're tired and you want a real guitar. Now, granted, the Martin the X line, the X series of Martins, have a solid top, most of the time, a solid spruce top. The rest, the back and sides, are high pressure laminate, and the neck is Strata-Bond, which is kind of like what gun stocks are made of. And so it's not fully, all guitar, all solid wood, but it still is a good entry level to Martin guitars and to a better sounding guitar overall than a lot of your cheaper, laminate beginner models that start out in like $299 range. Okay, so if you're looking to up that, you can go and to ericbeatty.com/shop, do a search for the DX. Now, D is for Dreadnought. If you like the style that I play, it's a Dreadnought. So it will be Martin DX, and just search for that, and it'll pull right up all these different models and everything you can get. But it sounds amazing. I highly recommend it for those that are beginning to want to upgrade their gear and want to have a better, deeper sound. And one step up from that, though, if you want a solid wood all the way, is probably the D16. I've heard a lot of good things about it. Matter of fact, that's what Kenneth Burris, that's the guitar he played, if I'm not mistaken, in our video of us two jamming. That thing has got so many thousands of likes, probably up close to 100,000 views now, since we shot it a couple years ago almost. So that's the guitar he's using, is a D16, if I'm not mistaken. And it is solid spruce, and I think the back and sides might be mahogany. Can't remember for sure. But anyway, I've had the guitar for 5 years, the DCX-1E. Love it. Still recommend it. Still play it a lot. Still play it from time to time. The next one is the main guitar that I've used for the past year. I've had it for a year. That's the 1 year anniversary for that one, and that is the Breedlove Revival DR Deluxe guitar. Now, I'll just say right now, I don't have any of these guitars with me in my little studio here. Because my feet is freezing. Okay. I didn't want this to be a guitar hangout. I may do that another time. But I kind of save my videos for guitar stuff. And that way, when I come here in the Hangout, I don't have to have this big bulky guitar here trying to, mess around and get it to get it to keep from banging on the desk and things like that. I kind of like to have the freedom of movement. This be like a little talk session with you guys. So, but yeah, that website is ericbeatty.com. I'll go ahead and remove that right now, and that way you can see the rest of me. Anyway, the Breedlove Revival DR Deluxe was given to me by one of my former students, Pat Wallace, and he just came to me. I've got the whole story of this on another video. I think it was I'll Have a Breedlove Christmas or Breedlove something like that. If you look that up, Breedlove and Christmas, the video should pull up. But he gave me the guitar, and I've been using it for a year, and that was in for Christmas. So that's just past a year anniversary. So I'm really happy with that guitar. Love it. It has solid. What's the name of that spruce? It's red spruce. Adirondack. Solid Adirondack spruce top, Adirondack bracing that's forward shifted. That's the pre-war model. That's why they call it a revival, because when Breedlove started making these guitars, they wanted to revive the pre-war, the big D28s and all those kind of models that really made an impact on the acoustic guitar world. So they wanted to revive that sound, and they used the schematics and the different specifications of those guitars in these guitars, the revival guitars. And so it has solid Adirondack spruce top and bracing. It has, I think it's East Indian rosewood back and sides. East Indian rosewood back and sides. The neck, I think, is a type of mahogany. It's very slick, very nice satin finish, but the rest of it is a gloss top finish. It's just an amazing guitar. It's got the old vintage tuners. I forget what you call them. It seems like they start with a W. I can't remember. But they're the little vintage tuners where you can see the gears and everything. Love this guitar. Amazing guitar. I've had it for a year, and it's got the most tone of, I think, just about any guitar I've played acoustic. Pat also had a D18 or a D28. It was an HD 28, specially made from, I think it was Sweetwater. They had a special model just for them. It was either him or Musician's Friend. But anyway, he had a special model HD 28, and I played it after going to Gatlinburg and listening to a DR Deluxe Revival Series from Breedlove. And I was blown away by that guitar. Listening to his HD 28, it didn't have that impact. It just didn't sound, didn't have the punch, didn't have the oomph. And I love that guitar. And it's discontinued as well. They don't make them anymore. You have to find them on eBay or on Flat Picker Hangout or Mandolin Cafe or places like that. And but if you ever get your hands on one, I'm telling you, it's amazing, amazing guitar. Get the rosewood. I've had mahogany, and the rosewood just has more punch. I've played mahogany guitars. In other words, mahogany is more of a softer, woody tone, but the rosewood just seems to have more of a balance between the highs, the lows, and the mids, and it just has more punch to it. So I've had a guitar for 1 year, and once again, if it's not on the ericbeatty.com/shop, if you can't find it there, then you can type in, a similar thing and look at some more Breedlove products. They have some really good guitars, really high quality made, and if I'm not mistaken, I have been trying to do this for like over a year since I got the guitar. If I'm not mistaken, I'm now finally officially endorsed by Breedlove Guitars, so I'm a Breedlove artist. Thank goodness it's finally here. I think they're updating their website, and they've got all the artists on there and everything, so I think I'm officially endorsed artist, so that'd be cool. I don't know what kind of perks that comes with, but it's cool to say that I'm an endorsed artist by some, top name company, and these are quality. I'm just telling you. The other guitar that I've had for it will be now 2 years. 2 years as of this past October in 2015 is this one. This is my Ibanez RG4EX1. It is the quilted maple top with the basswood back and sides, basswood body. Pretty weighty thing here, okay? I'll get on that in just a second. Anyway, it's got the Edge 3 tremolo and the Wizard 2 neck, one piece, maple, and the rosewood fretboard. Still enjoying playing with this thing when I get the chance to. Now, I don't play it as much because I'm so in love with that breed love, even after a year. It just, tone just resonates through your whole body when you play that breed love. But every now and then I'll pick this thing back up and play it and try to get some good sounds out of it and everything. I've recently modified the tremolo system to include something called a back box it's a Goldo back box. I don't know if you can see it or not. It's toward the end over here. Let's see if I can, right in here. And it's actually, I'm going to just pull this off so you can see it. If I can get it off. Velcro's on there good. So that's the back box, that thing in the middle there. And what that does is that it allows the guitar to stay in tune when you're going, when you're whammy barring, or especially when you're bending like this. That means these other guitars, these other strings stay in tune. Now before, this thing would just dive bomb really bad. The bridge would dive bomb, but this back box actually helps hold it in place. And what it does is it balances the bridge. Whenever you pull back on the bridge, this right here is the resistance to keep it in this spot where it is. And you tighten up the springs so that the springs act as the resistance when you lower or dive bomb the bridge, okay? And you'll see I've had to really screw these things up here because the springs themselves aren't really tight. The tension isn't very high, so I've had to really drive the claw back. They don't usually recommend driving it back that far, but these are the only springs I had, so I had to go with it. But I've actually got a video that I have recorded when I did this way back when, and I just haven't got it together and spliced together and all that and edited of me installing this. And I'd like to get that up sometime soon when I can find the time to sit down and get all these videos together. So I've had this one for 2 years, and when I originally bought it, it was $250 with the case from an individual, and I've got the story of that too. If you just look up Ibanez RG 4EX1 on my channel, you'll be able to find that. This is one I took the bridge actually to Steve Vai concert, and he signed it. Not the bridge, but the back plate. So that's that. Had it for 2 years now. Another mod I've been recently messing with and haven't had a lot of success with yet, but I'm still trying, is my Stratocaster. Now I've had it for ever since 2001, so it's been a long time. I guess 2001 till 2016, for 15 years then. I've had it for a long time. And I've done several mods on it, and I don't have it right next to me. It's actually across the room. But I've tried to get to where I can replace the neck on it. Now, I've had a lot of issues with the neck not being exactly the right dimensions and everything, so I've been hesitant to put that video on YouTube just yet because I'm thinking about just taking it to a professional and letting them order the correct neck and install it. I've looked at warm-off necks, but I just don't want to spend $250 on a neck. I just don't want to do that. That's just it's a little too much for me. Because this one lasted me for, this is one, I'd say out of the 15 years I've had this guitar, this guitar neck, the original Fender guitar neck, the Stratocaster neck, lasted me at least maybe 12 years of that before the truss rod finally gave out. And so that was a problem. It was, you know, fretting out and everything, and it was getting too close to the neck, or close to the frets and everything. So I'm probably just going to have that done professionally. But I will try to splice and put together the video for the back box because it's a very handy device, and I recommend it myself. I've tried the trim setter. I've got it on my Strat, and it was a beast to install. You had to drill holes and everything in the body of the guitar. That wasn't fun. And so this thing's a lot easier. There's another one called I think, if I'm not mistaken, called a Stay Tuned Tremolo Claw. And if I had to order another tremolo device, it would probably be that one because it looks pretty easy to install and not much, work at all, not much maintenance. So, but anyway, that's the anniversaries for my instruments. The other anniversary that I was going to go over real quick is the anniversary of using Scrivener for 1 year. And if you go to the website again, ericbeatty.com, and then you go /Scrivener, that is my link to the Mac version. If you need the Windows version, then go to ericbeatty.com/writing. And if you scroll down to writing software, you can see a Scrivener and a Windows version there that you can click on either one and grab those. I got this on a special from NaNoWriMo last year. Not last year, but in 2014. And the reason I got it is because NaNoWriMo was around, and I don't know how many times I've told this story. I don't want to beat a dead horse, but I abandoned my first NaNoWriMo novel in 2009. Okay, I won the competition because I got to 50,000 words, but the novel wasn't complete. And I just, I was burned out from all this extra writing and trying to get all this stuff done. It was my first time, and so I didn't really anticipate the fact that I would be so burnt out that I didn't touch the novel again for another 5 years, pretty much. And so I thought, man, I'm going to get this done this year. This is my year of writing. I've got to get it done if I really want to be serious about this. So back in 2014, October, I decided to download the free trial of Scrivener. And the cool thing was, back in NaNoWriMo, during that time of year, you can download the program, and even if you don't win, they give you like a 20% discount or something like that. If you do win, they give you a 50% discount. And normally it's $45, which, let me tell you, this is one of the best $45 I've ever spent on a piece of software. It's so amazing. There's a lot to it, but if you just take the things that you really need, and if you just do a few, YouTube videos on some tutorials, or actually read the guide that comes with it, the overview, then it really makes a big difference, and it really isn't that hard to work with. But I've used it for a year now. I actually completed. While we're in this section, let's go ahead and go to the next section from the Anniversaries to my year of writing, 2015. Okay, so the novel that I was talking about, I completed it using Scrivener. I imported everything into it from some text documents, and it imported just fine, no problems. And I split it all up into chapters and into scenes and stuff like that. And I finished that novel in June of 2015, of last year. So after 5 years, I was able, 5 years, and I think it took 8 months to finally get it done, from October to June, however long that is. I finally completed the novel with just above 90,000 words, I think. And I was in the middle of editing that when, in 2015, I had an idea for another book, and it was based on one of my previous videos that I've done on goal setting. And so I hired a virtual assistant, had them transcribe the video, and got that back, started going through it, and I thought, well, I'll just do a quick edit and it'll be done. Well, the more I went through it, the more I realized there was so much more stuff from the time she had transcribed the video and from the time that I had originally recorded the video, that I just wanted to add more stuff to it and make it all that it could be. And I'm calling it, the working title for it is my Goals ebook, and I'm really, really hoping to get that out before the first quarter ends of 2016 of this year, because right now is the time to have that kind of book on the market, because people are setting their goals, they're trying their best to work on their resolutions and things like that. And I figured this is something that helps me in the sense that it's all the knowledge that I have learned over the past couple of years on my goal setting and achieving goals and time management, things like that, wrapped up into one package. And I wanted to make that available to people. So that happened. So I had the NaNoWriMo 2009 novel finished. The Goals ebook, finally got it done. Both of those are waiting edits. I started editing the NaNoWriMo novel for 2009 when, about October, I realized that NaNoWriMo 2015 was coming up, okay? Okay, so here I am going, okay, do I really want to get serious about writing this year? Am I really willing to put my money where my mouth is, so to speak? And I decided I was going to plunge in and not be defeated this time in NaNoWriMo 2015. And I plunged in, and I set the daily goals. I went to write-ins, live write-ins and online write-ins featured by the Word Nerds here on YouTube. Love their videos. They got some really good ideas on writing and things like that. But shout out to them. Let's see. Went to write-ins, went to the online write-ins, utilized all the different resources from NaNoWriMo's website. Actually bought the book by the founder, Chris Beatty, no relation, different spelling. The book he wrote on how to win NaNoWriMo, and he's the one that's founded it, 10, 15 years ago, and completed 14 novels, one novel each year for however long it was. So it's been about 15 years or so when he started. So I went whole hog into this writing thing, and as a result, I reached the 50,000 word mark on November 30th, the very last day. My winning word count was 50,501 words, and I ordered the shirt a day before just to commit to make sure that I was going to do this, and I got the shirt. Now I've won. Somewhere along the way, I've lost the 2009 winter shirt, which is really aggravating, and I can't find another one. But at least I've got this one. This one, shows that it's official. So I did that, okay. But now I'm in the same spot. I finished the 50,000 word mark, but the novel is still incomplete. I've still got more to work on. Well, I have been really hammering it out, and because of Scrivener, it's just made it so much easier to organize everything. To just, if I have another thought, just jump out of what I'm doing, write something else down, a little note, and come back to my story if I need to. It's just an awesome program. And if you'll check that out, like I said, the link is ericbeatty.com/Scrivener, and that's SCRIVENER. Or if you go to ericbeatty.com/writing, you'll see a site there with writing software, I think, for Scrivener. And there's a cool Scrivener coaching program that's also on that writing website there, that part of that blog. So this year I've been able to crank out, since my initial commitment to writing this year, I've been able to crank out about 4 short stories. Some of those were previously written, but I still had to go over and edit them, tweak them a little bit. A couple of them were brand new, and they're not short stories in the sense that they have a storyline. A couple of them are just some musings and some, ideas that I had that I wanted to get down, but that's still considered a story. I go to Wattpad, and that's where a lot of my content, writing-wise, fiction and everything, is hosted. If it's non-fiction, fiction related, most of the time it's going to be on my blog, ericbeatty.com. But if it's fiction related, a lot of stuff I'm putting on Wattpad. And my username there is Sire. That's just my first name, so backwards, ERIC, CRIE, and then Wordsmith. One word, Sire Wordsmith. So wattpad.com/Sire Wordsmith will take you to my Wattpad page, so that you can view all the stuff that I'm writing on. So this year's Nano that I was talking about, that I was able to complete as far as the contest, the name of that novel is called Kitty Hero Chronicles, and it's based on our cat that you've probably seen wandering around in some of the previous videos of the past. She's a Russian blue. Her name is Java, and the way that story started is, and this is how ideas happen, okay? So me and my wife were at Fall Creek Falls vacationing back in October, I think, of last year, and we just started one day. I just remember we were out walking around, and I just had an idea. What if our cat had superpowers? Okay, and I know it probably sounds weird, but there are weirder things out there, trust me. So what if our cat had superpowers? And then we just started back and forth brainstorming a little bit. I never really thought it was going to be anything, but I was really excited about telling this story and finding out what I could when I wrote it. So so our cat has superpowers, okay? So what if that happened? Well, then I began to think of all the other pets that some other family members own. My mom has, for a long time, she owned a little bitty toy chihuahua, miniature chihuahua. Nervous thing, I'm telling you what, twitch all the time. Had a big underbite to the side of its mouth. I mean, just ugly to look at, but cute. So ugly, she's cute. And her name was Sugar, okay? And she's owned her up until this past year, where another friend took over the responsibilities for taking care of her. And so her name in the novel is Twitchy, because nervous, and she loves coffee. That's a bad combination. So we have that, and she also owns a poodle, and not one of them fancy show poodles, but the one that's kind of like got, the curls all over, and it's just, I don't know how to explain it other than that. Got the big floppy ears. He's a male, and his name is Coco. But in the series, in the book, I decided to call him Hershey. and he's a reporter in the book. So the one thing led to another. And we started, me and my wife started imagining this whole town filled with animals, and what happens when the superpowers intervene. Who's the bad guy going to be? And so I just started from scratch and started writing some of these things down that I wanted to incorporate in this novel. And so that on Wattpad, I'm actually releasing that a little bit at a time as the weeks go on. So really excited to get in that. In addition to the 4 short stories I've written, I've got the first NaNoWriMo novel. It's a mystery, and I call it Feelings, is for short. Don't want to go into detail about that, but it's a mystery, but kind of like a paranormal mystery thing. Went into the Goals ebook, wrote that. Now the NaNoWriMo 2009, continuing to write that. Hopefully get that done soon so that I can begin editing the Goals ebook and get that out immediately. In addition to that, I've done about 30 or more blog posts this year. So I have really cranked it out and trying my best to get the writing out there, commit to it, and get some momentum, get some content built up. And so that's what I've really worked on. Now I've got a little section here in my previous planner from the last year. And I went over this in my blog, which planner did I choose for 2015, and that's the Action Day Planner. Really good planner. I really enjoy it. It's got some really good stuff in the front of this on how to deal with managing tasks. It's kind of set up like the Getting Things Done by David Allen system. So a bunch of different ideas on what to do and how to keep your goals, how to clarify your goals, how to keep them in the forefront of your mind, things like that. And so the planner itself is laid out like this. And then once again, this was last year's. And this is what I used last year. Now, on the back of this, there's a place for notes. And I just started about December of last year writing down some different milestones. Now, you know me, if you know anything about my goals, I write down my milestones every year so I can see what I've accomplished and kind of get an idea of some momentum and feeling good, not feeling, because the year goes by so quick and you wonder where the time went. Well, if you make a list every month, what happened that month that was significant enough to make you feel like I've done something, I've accomplished something. And then at the end of the year, you compile all those months into a couple pages here. And that's what I decided to do. Instead of making a big milestone sheet like I had before, I decided to just put it in the back of this planner. That way it's all located here. I don't have to be all fancy about it. If I ever need to go back and look at it, I can see it here. Now, the writing, by the way, was all done in the midst of trying to finish the DVDs for my Bluegrass Guitar Essentials, and that just popped up at the below. I finally finished those. I think it was shortly after I finished the novel, still in June. I believe it was June the 30th when I happened. June 24th was when I finished the novel, and yes, and June the 30th, if I'm not mistaken, was when I completed Bluegrass Guitar Essentials on DVD. Now, I had so many aggravations with that course, trying to get everything just perfect, trying to get everything right enough to release. But it's out there. It's available. If you go to that website below, /DVDs, you can get the DVD version. And you can also go to that website, /webisodes, and there's a downloadable version of the course as well. A lot of people seem to like that course, have good things to say about it. Again, just like the goals, everything I've learned and want to compile in goals, a lot of the stuff that I've learned in Bluegrass, I wanted to make a course out of and compile it and make it available to people. And the webisodes have been available for a while, and all that time I was getting everything ready to make the DVDs. And now it's finally here. They're finally available as of like June last year. So people have been enjoying those videos, enjoying those DVDs. And I've had orders from all over the world. I've had them from Australia, from Canada, from here in the United States, from all over, Germany. Everybody somehow, I guess, from my YouTube channel has been getting involved in Bluegrass, which is cool. I want to get Bluegrass out to the other places because it's so fun to play and it's so fun to be involved with. So that's the website to get access to that. Consequently, if you're not sure, if you're interested in electric guitar, I also have a course for that, and that is secretsofTexasBluesGuitar.com. Okay, and so you can access that and go there, and it's it's a DVD course. There's like 9, 10 discs on it. The Bluegrass Guitar Essentials has 7 discs. This one is my first one, and it has 9 video discs and 1 data disc that it contains all the ebook files and everything like that. So this one, 3 videos alone are dedicated to all the cool licks in the course of the Texas Blues. And before I forget, a lot of people was wondering how to access the files, the ebook files and everything on the Bluegrass Guitar Essentials. Well, all they are is they're on each disc has its own file, and you insert it in your computer, and that'll allow you to open up the audio files if it contains audio files, or the ebook files for that course. So I brought all that to say that during all this writing, I had this other stuff to work on. So it's been a very hectic month, but I've got a lot of stuff to show for it. Okay, these are my milestones from last year, and very important. I'm very goal-oriented, very very organized in that sense that I want to see what I've accomplished, see what things have happened. I actually, at the back of this planner, I wrote down some helpful tools, tips, and lessons that I've learned this past year. One of the tools I'll show you in just a minute, I've got it right here. Just instead of reading it all off, I'll give you some examples. Some wonderful tools is the free courses that's available on Coursera.com, and that's just course and then RA at the end of the word course, Coursera.com. Free course, totally free, and you can access courses on how to write, courses on music, business, anything you can think of. It's kind of like Udemy.com, but it's all free, and it's really cool, and you can sign up for it and go through these 5 or 6 week workshops and have a community, online community that helps spur you on, and that you grade each other's work and kind of critique each other's work. It's very, very wonderful. I enjoyed it. The one I took specifically was one on creative writing, how to build an effective writer or something like that. I can't remember exactly, but it was good. And some of the other courses that I accessed on Udemy was over Scrivener. There's some courses on Scrivener over Udemy as well. The writing groups that I joined have helped tremendously. I've joined 2 of those. This Action Day Planner is a really good planner. It's a really good tool. And the other planner that I was debating on when I started getting this one was one called the Passion Planner. And I actually decided to do that one this year. I'll show that one to you here in just a little bit if I can remember. But I really enjoy that one too. Deadlines help you get things done. Now, I don't know how many times I went over my deadline, but then I just had to backtrack, readjust, and keep going. I mean, you can't give up when you miss a deadline. You just have to keep going and get towards the end as best as you can. My MacBook Air has been a big help because I can take it out and I don't have to be stuck at home in the office. I can take this thing with me wherever I go, and you can check out my specifics on that in order.com/MacBook Air. I think it's all one word. I don't think there's if that doesn't work, then it's got then you just need to put a hyphen between the word MacBook and Air. But I'm pretty sure it's all one word, and you'll see my big review on that and where you can get one of those. Really, really enjoy the MacBook Air. I've used that thing like crazy. Another thing that's really helped, I love Trello. Okay, been using Trello, and there's another video on Trello on my YouTube page. If you type in Trello, you'll see how I use it, and you'll see a link where you can get that. There's another place called 16personalities.com. It's about the personality test and all these things, the Myers-Briggs. And I found out I was an INFJ, and I'm one of the 1% of the world that is that personality type, apparently. So it kind of helped me understand why I am the way I am and why, I'm kind of a hermit. Not very sociable as I'd like to be, but that's just how it is. That's why I haven't gone online and done, Hangouts and things like that, because I'm just very reclusive, I guess. Here's a section on books that I found that was awesome for writing. There's a bunch of them on here. And once again, if you go to ericbeatty.com/ let's see, writing books, ericbeatty.com/ writing books. Now that may be hyphenated as well. I don't remember. But if you just go to ericbeatty.com, you can see a writing tab, and you can go down to that section. All these links I'm telling you, you can go and see those sections there on the tabs. But there's a ton of them there that I recommend, and that gives you an idea. Awesome shows or movies. Didn't really feel much in there. I watched a lot of Frasier this year. I love Frasier. I've been watching the show called Alphas on Netflix. I love that movie. and some other thoughts that I have for 2000 concerning 2015. Some ideas that might help for 2016 actually, and then thoughts on moving into 2016. These are all the ideas that I had for moving to 2016. And one of the main things was I was kind of worried about going into 2016 because I was thinking of all the ideas and goals that I had and wanted to do. And one thing that I really, after writing my thoughts down, it was helped me to clear my head and clear my thoughts, and finally realize what I needed to do, which was keep the big picture in mind. Don't worry about all the minute details. Kind of back up and see everything that you're working on. Work towards the big picture, not just the little minute tasks that really get in the way. There's a story in the beginning of this, and that Stephen Covey. It's by Stephen Covey, and he talks about the big rocks and the little rocks. And he says if you don't get your big rocks in there in your pail, in your bucket first, then there won't be room to put the big rocks in once you fill it with the little rocks. See, when you put the big rocks in a bucket and you pour sand, you pour small gravel, they can fill in between the spaces of the big rocks. But once you put the sand in first, you can't get the big rocks in there. So the point of that is get the big tasks done, the main tasks done. Don't let all these little minute things creep up and take your focus off what your main goal is. So really good planner. And one of the tools that I mentioned earlier, this is one thing that I wanted to focus on. I'm keeping this handy. This is a photocopy of one of the pages of my journal. And I think I did this on another video. It's called My Writing List. And these are the things I wanted to focus on this year so that, blog posts or not blog posts, but other things that are not here would not take my attention away from what I really wanted to be doing. Okay. The feelings novel that I mentioned, I wanted to get that done. I wanted to write some fresh fiction, which I have. I wanted to work on some previous stories that I've written. I've done some of those. There's some more that I've got on here that I've been wanting to put in there, and I'll probably work towards getting them done this year, depending. The main focus of this year, by the way, is going to be editing for me. I've got 3 books that I've got to edit. I've got to try to get them out there. So I'm excited in a way. I'm kind of depressed because I'm wondering where I'm going to find time to do fresh writing, fresh ideas. And what may have to happen for now is to go back and glean some of the old stories that I wrote way back when and just retype those and maybe edit some of those and make them better, polish them instead of writing completely new fiction. I don't know. Unless something just really is grabbing at me, I'm going to spend a lot of time on editing this year and trying to finally become an Amazon publisher. Been wanting to do that, self-publish my own work. Some new ideas for series. I want to experiment with shorter works of fiction so that I can learn the process quicker instead of all these novels and everything. Eventually I'll get to those, but I like to do more short stories and things like that. I wanted to finish my goals ebook. I wanted to journal more as a means to capture ideas, be creative, and for therapy, and to be free to experiment and explore, to be freely myself and to free myself. I find that writing in a journal is really, really important because sometimes for me, I just get overwhelmed with all the things and I have to step back and I have to say, everything has to go. I have to have my creative time. And one thing that I do to kind of clear my head out is to write in my journal. And so if you never wrote in a journal, try it for a year. Try it for 6 months. Try it for 90 days and see if it doesn't make a difference. Record all your thoughts. It doesn't have to be a certain format. It can be as messy as if you want to. They have those Wreck This Journal things out there now. I don't really go for those because I want to be able to create my own content, not be told what to do by a book. But if you don't have an idea of what to do, then that's a good way to start, I guess. Using Wattpad as training ground and for fiction and engaging with other writers, as well as getting some feedback. Now, one of the things that wasn't on here is blog posts and things like that. Those are good, but I want to be able to focus more on fiction. I've done nonfiction forever, and I wanted to do some fiction stuff. So the journal finally finished was my ecosystems journal, and I put a big tally at the very end of this, creative stats, and it tells how long this journal was, how many entries are in here. Basically this journal is the equivalent of 69,696 words. So this right here itself is a novella or a small novel, and I have completely filled this thing up. Now, granted, there's some things like webinars that I did that, or some ideas that I may have just doodled on, and it doesn't count as actual word count. But for the most part, this is all writing, and this has been one of the most important journals to me in the insights that I've gained, especially for writing. What I'd like to do eventually too is like take a bunch of these entries and maybe make an ebook out of it. There's so much stuff that the content keeps piling up. At the same time, you want to create fresh content. So there's that whole problem. So before I reveal this next tool real quick, let me go to the comments. I see that there's 6 viewers, and I appreciate everybody that's viewing. Thank you so much. I'm going to go ahead and put my website back up so that everybody knows where to find me, where to find my content and everything. And I'd like to check and see if there's any things. Okay, awesome. I have some chat stuff going on here. Okay. The comments are disabled, but there's a chat log. Oscar Onyx says, Happy New Year, brother. Appreciate that, Oscar. Glenn Pierce. Hey, man, do you ship the DVDs to the UK? The DVDs are worldwide. It's free shipping handling, I think, for the lower 48 in the US, but there's a shipping charge, obviously, if it's overseas. But it ships worldwide as far as I know. The company that I use, they ship it everywhere. Just make sure you enter the correct address, okay? I've had some problems with people not entering the address the right way or something, and there's actually it's only been maybe 1 or 2 people. I'm kind of in the middle of that with one customer right now. He entered the wrong address, and it's kind of stuck in Chicago, Illinois or something, and he lives in like Germany or something. So I'm having to kind of work through that. Just make sure you enter all the details correctly, and you should be able to get it. So yeah, they ship to the UK, they ship worldwide. Oust 10H. If you like scribbling, you might find some use out of a program called The Brain. Ooh, let's make a note of that. I'll just put that up as a new tab, and I'll get back to it later. The Brain software, mind mapping. Oh, you got me. You had me at mind mapping. I love mind mapping. One of the big things that I've done in mind mapping is, let's see, actually the notepad's in there. Some stories, mind map some stories and everything. I love mind mapping. A good software, I've never used The Brain, but another good software for that is called Xmind. And that's a really good software. Most of it's pretty much free. You can use just about all the tools for free. It's when you get into collaboration and things like that where they start charging you. But I've found Xmind to be a really good tool. There's all kinds of other programs out there for mind mapping, but yes, it's very, very, very good for generating story ideas, generating website ideas, any kind of problem solving things that you want to do. Make you a mind map is nothing more than you have a central topic, central idea, and then you draw lines, branch out from that, and draw circles around these other ideas that revolve around this idea. And you just keep drawing and you keep expanding, and you have that's how I built Bluegrass Guitar Essentials. Okay, let me just show you that. I'd say some of you guys may be interested in that. This is my filing cabinet system here. Bluegrass Guitar Essentials was made out of a mind map. Now I've got to find which tab I put this in. I can't remember if I put it in products or if I put it in Bluegrass. So I got to figure out which tab it's in here. Here it is, products. All right, so check this out. This whole thing is Bluegrass Guitar Essentials, every bit of it. All right. This is my ideas. This is my outlines. This is some of the surveys that I had written on what people wanted to see in a bluegrass course. So I did surveys, and kind of based the course around some of those surveys and what people wanted. Okay, so this is very heavily researched, but it all started right here. This is the first thing I did for Bluegrass Guitar Essentials. Okay, right there. This is my mind map. Let me take the lower third down here. All right, that's it. Start bluegrass course. Expand from that. Other secondary ideas. This is the main focal point. We've got some other ideas. And based on the survey results, I put percentage-wise of what people wanted to see the most in green so that I would know what to focus on the most in the course. Okay? So this whole thing is Bluegrass Guitar Essentials. Everything after that was built from that. I took this and made an outline out of it. Okay, started outlining the different points of the course, all right? And then when I recorded the video, I used this as my script. Okay, so that's how you create a product. That's how you create a book. You take this Maybe you can make an outline of it, or you can just go with this and start writing based on what this contains. I've actually got another story that I wanted to work on this last year. I didn't get to it because of NaNoWriMo and all that. But I mind mapped it first, and then I started writing like an outline, some ideas of what could happen. And not that you have to stick to that outline. You know, feel free to be flexible and kind of go on a tangent if you want to, but it gives you a place if you get lost in that tangent to come back to. Okay, so I really enjoy mind mapping. Thanks so much, Oust10H, for saying that. What is mind mapping? Okay, I just explained that. Okay, you just take an idea or a thought, put it on the center of the page, draw a circle around it, draw a square around it, whatever, and then branch off from that. And it's also called clustering. A big cluster of ideas, a big web of ideas. And that's what mind mapping is. It's so helpful. Minzy, hi, I have a gem found in Germany, color green. Look at my video. I don't know if you mean gem as in Steve Vai guitar gem. You spelled it with a G, and it's that guitar spelled with a J. But that's cool. If you got a Steve Vai guitar, that's awesome. How different is early bluegrass from modern stuff? Glenn says, okay, early bluegrass is more of that fast. It's a lot about speed. It's a lot about the singing, because you got the high harmonies and the high vocals, and you have people gather around one mic, and they really are focused on that. And it's, to me, I hate to say it, since they were getting their start early, you know, it was kind of a new genre. It's pretty sloppy. The solos and things are very, you know, like especially mandolin solos. You see people like Bill Monroe and some of the other older mandolin players, Jim and Jesse. Their mandolin stuff is kind of sloppy. I mean, they're hitting multiple strings. It's not really precise, not really, you know, accurate or anything like that. But they would have a good time. Today's modern bluegrass, when I think of modern bluegrass, I think of people like Nickel Creek, Alison Krauss, Ricky Skaggs at Kentucky Thunder, Brian Sutton, even Tony Rice, people like that really have influenced me and really have influenced the ideas that I brought in the Bluegrass Guitar Essentials course. Those people are more precise. Yes, it is about vocals, but it's equally focused on the instruments themselves. And even the bass has its solos every now and then. You have banjo solos, fiddle solos. Now, early bluegrass was really geared towards fiddle tunes and fiddle songs, and that wasn't as sloppy as the other instruments. But now we have fiddle tunes that are flat picking guitar tunes. Clarence White, Dan Crew, Doc Watson, some of those guys really started the whole translating the fiddle tunes to a guitar and flat picking lead runs. And so now we are focused today mainly on the band as a whole, and also not just the band as singers, but the band as instrumentalists. And so a lot of the focus has switched from singing and sloppy playing, but very good vocals, to amazing vocals and amazing playing, virtuosity even in playing their instruments. Okay, so that's the big difference that I see. Do you watch Alan Lomax stuff? I'm not familiar with Alan Lomax. Sounds familiar, but I don't think I've seen any of his stuff. Okay, so for the chat, thanks so much, guys, for saying that. I'm not sure if these are going to translate to comments later. I don't like the fact that you can't add comments for the live streams anymore, but maybe these chat things will translate to be converted to comments later. I don't know. So I'm going to kind of go off the comments now so that I don't get distracted. And let's get back on what we're going on now. Let's see. Writing groups, NaNoWriMo. Okay, so we got those topics out of the way. Here's the tool that I was going to show you. Yeah, let me just do that real quick. I'll show you a couple variations of it. I found this tool immensely helpful this year. And, a lot of people like to use digital tools. They use their smartphone and everything, but it's very, very handy to have pencil and paper. For one thing, pencil and paper won't crash on you. You don't have to wait for load times. There's a whole thing on that I've said all the time when I think I even put it on a blog post about the advantages of hard copy stuff versus digital. But if you want to do this digital, you can, but it's nice to see all the flavor you can do with this. This tool that I was talking about is called Don't Break the Chain. Don't break the chain. It's a calendar that you can actually, the idea is to keep a pattern going, keep a chain going of how many days that you did a certain task, whatever that task may be. And unfortunately, when I was trying to change an ink toner, I wasn't paying attention, and there's huge ink blots on this calendar now. And but you can still see the basic, idea of what's going on. So here's mine. Okay, now theoretically, you're supposed to make a different calendar for each task, but my task for the whole year was going to be writing. So what I did, instead of making a different calendar, was use different color highlighters. Okay, so here's what mine looks like for the year. This is 2015. Okay. All right, let me go shortly over what this is. The activity I wanted to do was writing. Also includes editing, webinars on writing, courses on writing, journaling, anything to do with writing. Does not include reading, writing books, and blogs, because that was my downfall. My biggest downfall this year is that I did too much research and not enough just to get down to doing it. And don't fall in that loophole. That is a black hole that will suck you in of trying to learn and learn and learn, and you never get out of the learning rut to actually go do something, okay? Let me just tell you right now, that's important. So I started January, about the 30th, the end of January, for some reason. I think it's when I started writing, or maybe I just didn't remember how many days I did here. And everything in blue here was mainly to do with, writing and Coursera workshops and things like that, and how many times I did it. So there's a nice pattern that develops. You get to see, oh, wow, look how much I've accomplished. Look how much I've done. And when you start seeing gaps, like as you go down here, there's plenty of gaps here where I didn't do anything. It kind of reinforces your mind, oh, we got to get back on top of this. It's kind of like building a habit. The habit itself forces you to continue the habit, okay? So notice I switched my highlighter color to orange, from blue to orange, and that is new material for the NaNoWriMo novel. So in other words, I started back in May, writing new material. Now, up to this point, I think this is not only Coursera, but this is editing the previous novel. Up to this point, I've been editing the novel, the 2009 novel I was telling you about earlier in the video. This is the point where I started actually typing new material and finishing it up with new material with the novel. So the new material that I ended up with was another 20,000 words on top of the 60,000 I had before. Somewhere around there. Somewhere I've got like 90,000 words, somewhere around there. Okay, so journal entries I've decided to use for blue now that this is over with. I completed my writing. I circled it right here. I completed the NaNoWriMo novel on the 24th of June. And down here I did a green highlighter. This is where I started my goals ebook, or miscellaneous ebooks and short stories. So began writing and editing the goals ebook down here in June. Actually, this would begin July. So July, okay. And as I came on down here, I've still got the blue for journal entries and the green for goals ebook. So I was still trying to get some writing done, a few gaps here. When I moved into the pink or the magenta, whatever you want to call it, this is my morning pages that I started using from a book called The Artist's Way. And I can't remember, I want to say her name is something Cameron, because it reminds me of James Cameron. I want to say Carolyn Cameron, but I can't remember if that's her name or not. But if you look up The Artist's Way, like if you go to ericbailey.com/shop and then type in The Artist's Way, this book will come up. And this is a whole course, a 12-week course on creativity and unleashing your creativity, and not, feeling bad about being creative or being an artist or anything like that. Just enjoying, rediscovering your creative roots, I guess. So that's what the pink was. And then I finally realized, and what I did when I did more than one thing on one day, is I put half an X one color and the other half of that same X a different color, so that I could see that I've done multiple projects on one day. And it's finally started to be too much to keep up with, so I decided to write myself a note. I'm not tracking the morning pages anymore. I'm just doing the best I can. Trying to get up every morning and write. I completed the goals ebook, finished it on September the 24th. So that one was done. The green is now eliminated. There's no green down here. And I began the novel edits for the 2009 novel. I decided after the goals ebook, I'll go back to the novel. So it was a good 3 months before I got back to the novel. Now, they say when you write a novel, you need to let it sit for a while and come back to it with a fresh eye. 3 months is probably more than I should have let it wait, but I was in the middle of another project. So I began the novel edits, and as you can see, that's very sporadic. I don't know what happened there. This is the month of October. So I know one thing that happened is in October, we were in Fall Creek Falls. So I could actually put that down here, Fall Creek Falls. Fall Creek Falls vacation. Okay. And then I put down here in blue again, journal or writing other than the ebook or short stories. So I was going to use blue again for that. Never really got right about October is when I kind of started not really keeping up with this daily. What I would do is I would go back and look at my journal entries and see where I wrote, and then I'd come back to this and start Xing off. Because in August is when I actually got my MacBook Air that I showed you earlier. And being away from the office, this was left in my office, so I didn't get a chance to mark this stuff as it happened. So NaNoWriMo 2015 is what all this green is, and I wrote every single day in NaNoWriMo 2015 except for the 28th. That's when I got so sick that I couldn't stand up. Couldn't stand it. I'll tell you, I was very sick. And so not only all this other stuff was going on, and NaNoWriMo just expect things to go wrong and to try to get you off your goal of writing. Stephen Pressfield in his book, The War of Art, calls it resistance. And resistance is always after us to keep us from doing the thing we want to do. In this case, for me, it's writing a novel. So that things crop up, and you just have to keep doing the best you can. But I won NaNoWriMo 2015, and then I'm reducing. My strategy was so that I wouldn't get burned out. I would reduce for the remainder of the novel. I would reduce it to 500 words a day so that I could at least get to the end of the novel without feeling I've got to produce 1,667 words a day, which I think was their recommended daily word count, to maintain the 50,000 word mark by the end of the month. Now that that deadline is gone, instead of just slacking off and not writing anything like I did my first mistake, I said, let's just do a 500 words a day, try to see how that goes. Now, I know I wrote more than what's on here. Just like I said, though, I didn't come back and mark it down. But this gives me a good overview of my entire year, what I've done. Now, look at this. This is how much stuff I've produced in this whole year. This alone is enough to motivate me. And I can look back on this and say, man, look what I can do the next year. I can definitely discipline myself and do this. Now, the new ones are very cool. They look really nice. And they're in multiple colors now. So that's what the new ones look like. Here's the old one, Don't Break the Chain, 2015. And the new ones, Don't Break the Chain, 2016. Right now I've got green and blue. I haven't decided what to put blue as yet. But I've decided that green is going to be writing, okay? Writing. Blog, stories, journal, etc. The goal is, it says time. By the way, this time was supposed to be 20 minutes a day. But this one I've decided to do a word count, 500 words a day at least. See how much how much I can do that with. Today's the 5th, and if I get any writing done, I'll mark an X through that. So instead of using different highlighters, I may still use different highlighters, I don't know. I figured the black on a color, I figured I'd go ahead and, splurge a little bit and print this off in color. I figured the black on color would look very nice, and just leave the actual sheet of color and keep using black or blue, whatever. So I actually go to another famous YouTuber on here on YouTube. Her name is Karen Kavett, Karen Kavett. And if you go to KarenKavett.com and you do a search on the left-hand side, for right now, that's the way her blog's set up. It's on the left-hand side. Do a search for Don't Break the Chain 2016. That will take you right to it, okay? So that's just in case I forget to add the link here in the show notes. There's a lot of stuff I went over and didn't want to have to leave you guys hanging as to how to find one of those. Very, very helpful tool. Now, I'm going to put this back in where I got it from so that I can keep this with me at all times, my passion planner, okay? Now, in contrast, this is what I'm using this year instead of this one. Now, I decided to get a huge one. Upon further reflection, I wish I got this size, because this is mainly if you're going to stay at an office desk and you're going to stay at your desk. This is mainly for portability. Now, I'm talking about size, not the actual planner. So this is like a 5x8, I think, and this is 8.5 by 11, full size. And next year, if I get another one of these, it will be a smaller one. I'll tell you that right now, because this is pretty bulky. I mean, there's a lot of room to write, a lot of room for creativity, but that's just bulky. I'd rather have convenience instead of, all this space. Now, you're talking about mind mapping. Let me give you an example of mind mapping here, okay? This is for you, Glenn. You was asking about it, I believe. This is what mind mapping is. It actually starts you with an idea, okay? It starts you with an idea. Here's my wish list for this year, 2000. Today's date was the 27th of December last year, but this is going on towards this year. What do I want to accomplish in 3 years? What do I want to accomplish in my lifetime? What about 3 months? What about 1 year? Now, feel free if you want to. It even says it later on down here. You can change these to cross out lifetime, 3 years, 1 year, and 3 months, and replace them with 5 years, 3 years, 3 months, and 1 month. So you can make this whatever you want to. And then from there, you start branching off. In 3 years, I want to accomplish this. I want to accomplish that. I want to accomplish this. I want to accomplish that. Okay? Now, what they say is pick one of these that you really want to, actually, you circle 4 of them from each category. And from those 4, pick one you want to focus on this year. Okay? The one I decided to focus on was a lifetime goal of the freedom to be creative. And that's what this side is. You write in your game changer, they call it. What's going to really change your game for this year? Well, the freedom to be creative. And then from there, I started branching off and creating my own ideas, okay? Now, this is on my Facebook. I've actually got an album on my Facebook. If you go to facebook.com/theericbeatty, you can go to my photos, and there's one on goals and goal setting or planning or something like that. And that's where some of these screenshots are going to be of this actual planner. And one of the things I wanted to do was get a mindset and get a plan for how I'm going to create my goals ebook. And what I did was I actually create a little sketch here, kind of like a timeline. Okay? And so I made this timeline from editing the book, because it's already written. So editing all the way out to sales, publishing. And then between this, there's some other things under some of the other ones that have to be done at the same time that these are. So I just kind of mapped it on out there, okay? That's another way that you can create ideas. But really enjoying this passion planner. At the end of each month, you got places for reflection. And at the end of the very back of the planner, I can do like I did at the back of this one and put down end of the year reflection. What happened this year? What are some milestones? Different things like that. And on the very back, there's some blank pages and some graph pages that you can utilize. And there's a bunch of them. They're really generous with that. And then you got this little flat that you can keep things in at the end of the year, okay? All right, so just give you an idea of this. This is also another picture that's on that Facebook. The very first page I decided to do was another game changer. I created another game changer, and that was 3 books published. That was another one that was from the front that I did. 3 books published by the end of the year that are already written. They're already written. So I'm not having to write them from scratch. So my game changer was 3 books published. Here's one book, here's another book, here's another book, and then we have start all over, do it again. What are the steps you're going to take? Here's some little lines showing where one links to another, and here's a little timeline that I created. And you can see the progress and the what did I say it was? The production level. How many books am I going to have? Book 1, book 2, book 3. Here's a timeline, some ideas, and some overall ideas here. Once again, these are on facebook.com/theericbeatty, and you go to the photo album that says goals and planning, I think, and you can get an idea of what those look like. So that's Passion Planner, okay? Really good tool. As far as this year, like I said, let's go ahead and take some more comments real quick before I get ready to get done with this. Okay, Glenn says that Alan Lomax, when he was asking earlier, did all the folk history films and recording. Okay, cool stuff. I may actually have watched one of his then. Maybe that's why it sounds so familiar. There's a video on YouTube called Bluegrass. Oh, what's the name of that? Let's see. Bluegrass Country Soul. That's the name of it. Bluegrass Country Soul. If you'll do a search for that, it's a really good video on. I think it was back in the 70s that they documented an actual entire bluegrass festival, and has all the big names in there. Ralph Stanley's there. Chubby Wise is there. the Country Gentlemen. Wonderful group, wonderful songs. They're there. That's when Dole Awesome was playing with them. Okay. Tony Rice is there when he was a young guy, when he was playing with Sam Bush and some of them other groups that he was in at the time. J.D. Crowe was there. So back in their heyday, that's what this video documented. And I really enjoy it. I watch it from time to time. It's called Bluegrass Country Soul. And that may be on one of Alan Lomax's films. I don't know. But that's really cool. So to wrap this thing up, I'd like to go ahead and get off here on time for once. I hope you guys have enjoyed this. Hope you guys have enjoyed what I've been going over. Maybe give you some ideas for this year. Like I said, for this year, my goals, that's what I just showed you, getting 3 books published by the end of the year. That's my goal. For right now, I have to finish the Kitty Hero Chronicles book. #1 priority, got to finish that. After that, I'm planning on getting the Goals ebook edited. And it's not going to be a massive edit because it doesn't have anything to do with story, and you don't have to worry about plot structure and all this other stuff. It's a how-to book. It's a self-help book on achieving your goals. So I don't have to do a big, huge, massive edit like that. So I'm hoping to get it done, edited within a couple of weeks when I start it. No more than a month. It shouldn't take a month to edit this book if I could just really hammer down on it. Because I really want to see my first book up on Amazon as a publisher, as an author. And from there, just start watching my repertoire build. Now, one of my goals when I bought my MacBook Air, okay, when I bought this, I got it, it's refurbished. I got it refurbished from Apple at like around $800. And the awesome thing was it was during August, during tax-free weekend, so I didn't have to pay tax on this. So one of my goals was, if I'm going to buy this, then I want to recoup what I've spent on this laptop in sales from my writing. So in other words, I want to repay myself back with the content that I produce on this laptop. So that's one of my goals, is to get these books out there and start kind of breaking even. And then from what I paid for this, and then everything else after that is going to be a bonus. It's going to be gravy. So that's one way to, give yourself a goal, is to make it fun like that. Try to, if I'm going to buy this toy, then I need to sell so many products to justify buying. Okay. But for this year, it's mainly get my, like I said, get the Kitty Hero Chronicles finished first. Then I can focus on the Goals ebook so that I can release it in time for this prime season, which is the first of the year. I mean, you really want to get something like this out at the first of the year. After the Goals ebook is done, I'm probably going to go back to the Feelings novel, try to finish it up. It's a very complicated novel I'm going to have to really work on. And that's a whole nother beast to tackle, is how do you edit? There's so many books on there on how to edit. So I've got 2 or 3 variations on how to edit that I'd like to try with this book. And then after that book is out, I'm going to try not to spend a lot of time. One thing you don't want to do is try to get something perfect. Don't worry about getting it perfect. Do the best you can, get it done, and get it out to the public. Ship. I think there's a book called Ship already, or something like that. Get it out there to the public. And then after I'm done with that one, I'll probably go back to the Kitty Hero Chronicles. And the hope is, on that little timeline I showed you at the very end, the hope is that I'll get all this done by October, in time for the next NaNoWriMo to arrive and go ahead and start my newest novel. And chances are, unless I get a really huge epiphany or really huge idea, chances are it's going to be branching out on either the first NaNoWriMo novel, the Feelings novel, developing that, or I'm going to go back to Kitty Hero Chronicles and continue that storyline. Now, here's my thought on that. By the time NaNoWriMo arrives, I will have already been working on probably Kitty Hero Chronicles. And so either one or two things is going to happen. I'm either going to be sick of that and want to go back to something else, or I'll be so involved and want to see more that I'll go ahead and continue that series. So in my mind right now, I'm thinking that by the time NaNoWriMo arrives for this year, in 2016, in November, that I'll be ready to continue one or the other series. Because You know, the going thing now is you have to have a series of books for people to buy it. Now, I'm not going to really bust myself over the head to try to get a series of whatever. I'm going to write whatever I want to write. And if you got, you know, multiple works out there, people are going to buy it if they like your writing. Stephen King's a big example. He has The Green Mile. It was a series at first. Now it's a complete book. He has the Dark Tower series. To my knowledge, I don't think he has any other series other than the Dark Tower and this newest one he's come out with, which is the Mr. Mercedes trilogy. Okay, so he's had tons of one-shot books. He had Carrie, he had Shining, he had The Dead Zone, he had Eyes of the Dragon, one-shot books. And back then, it never used to be a series. So people will, if they love to read, they'll read your stuff if your stuff is good. That's my theory on it. I'm not going to try to go with the crowd and say, well, I have to have 3 books of the same series. I don't. I write whatever I want to write, and let the customers decide what they want to have. But I mean, because I don't want to burn out again. That's the main thing. I don't want to burn out. I want to keep enjoying what I do, not let it be a job. Let it be fun. Have fun and enjoy it while I'm going on. That's how you are creative. You don't want to stifle your creativity by trying to figure out all the rules and obeying all the rules and what people say you should do. Just do what you want to do. And if you have to, you'd be working your day job or whatever and do this on the side until it, maybe starts to pick up. That's what, that's what most people do. Or if you're like me, you get laid off and you really start hammering on things. For me, it was guitar lessons and stuff. So that's pretty much the program for today. What I wanted to go over is this year is going to be another year of writing, editing, getting stuff out there. Now, I think it's April and June, or maybe April and July, they have what's called Camp NaNoWriMo. And that's just kind of like to get your fix while you're waiting for November to get here so that you can do the official competition. And that basically you set your own word count goal, and then you try to strive to achieve toward that. I'd like to maybe, I don't know if I'll participate in that, but I would like to check that out, see what that's all about come April, come June and July. Wattpad has something similar to that. Every month they have a 10,000 word challenge on whatever topic it might be. So I feel like I've covered a lot of ground today, and it's been nice to get all this off my chest after months. As far as the YouTube channel goes, I've still got all kinds of ideas on videos to put on there. I'm not really worried about a set schedule. Usually I try to come out with videos on Tuesdays, but depends on if I get more videos created. Usually I'll just sit down one day and make a bunch of videos, and then I'll upload them and they'll schedule on Tuesdays or whatever. That's usually the way I do it. And I found that last year I only had to do that maybe 3 or 4 times, and then that took care of all the videos for the year. And then everything else that I did after that, like if I just had an idea, I wanted to do a screencast, I wanted to do another video, whatever, those other videos were bonuses. So I was still able to do that, and it made it a lot more fun. I've had some requests to do some more videos of just me singing gospel songs. A lot of people love to hear them old-timey gospel songs, so I'm probably going to do some of those this year. Another thing I'd like to do is I've had so many requests from people on certain songs or certain ways to play, mostly bluegrass, that I've just got a huge backlog of stuff, and I hate to leave you guys hanging. But what I would like to do maybe is do 1 or 2 hangouts, maybe not even a hangout, maybe just a video of just me, kind of casual like this, reading through that list of requests and kind of working through the ones that I know I'm capable of doing and that would be the most beneficial and that would probably summarize all the requests up the best. Now, some of those are song requests. I probably won't be doing some songs, but I may do some licks from those songs, some solos from those songs. Some of those are techniques. I'm really more focused on technique than I am how do you play this song? How do you play that song? And if you're looking for Tony Rice solos and stuff, once again, you can check out my guitar course, bluegrassguitaressentials.com. And that's a lot of that stuff is based off Tony Rice, Brian Sutton, David Greer, Kenny Smith. A lot of those people were my influences for this course. Also, I have a lot of YouTube videos on Tony Rice. So if you have a question about anything or a request, be sure to check out my channel first. Do a search for whatever that is you're looking for, because chances are I either done that or I've done something very similar to that. So if you need to know how one song is played by Tony Rice that I've not covered, then look up another song by Tony Rice. Look up some videos of licks that I teach by Tony Rice, and that will give you an idea of what he did on the other songs. Because a lot of these artists have these standard licks that they just gravitate to, and they play them all the time. I know I do. And chances are, what you can find in one song, you'll be able to find another song. Okay, so I did Cold on the Shoulder, a video for Cold on the Shoulder. That's a really good intro to Tony Rice playing, because that's a pretty difficult song to play, the intro and the solo and all that stuff. So you can definitely look that up and then go from there. Okay. All right, so let's see. Let's go to the comments one more time, and I'll just go ahead and put that on for the last part. Actually, let's put that on for the last part. Please subscribe, like, comment, and share all these videos and courses and everything with people that you think will, benefit from it. All right, so Glenn Pierce. This will be the last comment I'm reading. I think he's the only viewer on here right now. Cheers, Eric. It's been a great insight as to how you work, and it's given me the kick up the rear. I can't say the word he used. I don't do profanity. Sorry about that. That I need, that we all need sometimes. Take care, mate. Peace out from a cold and wet UK. So let's see, was that Glenn that was asking about? Yeah, asking about if it ships in the UK. Yes, the DVD does ship to the UK. We went over that. And if you order the course, let me know. Chime in and let me know what you think about it. I'd love to hear your thoughts. I've been getting a lot of good feedback about it, and that's what I'm here for. I'm hoping to help people with all the videos that I have. So from me to you, I hope you guys have a wonderful new year. I hope these insights have helped you into the way I work, like Glenn said, into the way that you guys can maybe look at some of your things. Don't get overwhelmed with all the stuff you got to do. A lot of that's trivial. Don't let your to-do list become an idol. Okay, now that's one thing I learned last year. Don't let your to-do list become an idol. You worship your to-do list. You don't want that to happen. You really need to just focus on doing the best you can. Don't beat yourself up for it. And, chances are in the end, it'll all work out. Your inbox is never going to be emptied. It's always going to be, there's always going to be something to do. You've got to be the one to say, here's what I'm choosing to do that will benefit me in all the tasks that I want to do. So one great way to do that is, number one, get your journal, start writing in it, organize your thoughts. Really good ideas can come out of this. I will be using this probably for years. I can take this with me if I want something to read and just read some of the thoughts that I went over, and maybe it'll ignite something else I can write in another journal. I've already started another journal. And the other tool is get you a planner of some kind. You can try the Action Day Planner, I recommend. You can try the Passion Planner. I also recommend that. I've been using it. It's been a good thing. I can feel like I'm being more creative because there's places to draw and doodle and sketch. So you can use your right brain of being creative, and as well as your left brain of being like organized and scheduling and things like that. So definitely get your planner, get you some kind of, definitely try it. That don't break the chain. I'll try to leave a link to that by Karen Cavett, and get your journal, and you're good to go. Okay, so there's some other things I want to talk about, but I think I'm going to save them for a separate video. Right now, as it is, it's 12:30 Eastern time. I've got a lesson in about an hour. I need to go catch some lunch and then start some guitar lessons for the day. I feel like it's been a productive day. I'm excited about this video, excited about this content. Hope you guys have enjoyed it. Keep staying tuned to the channel. You never know what might be on here. I know that this Friday, January the 8th, I do believe it is, let me look at my calendar. That's pretty bad. I'm usually good with this stuff. Actually, it's going to be January 27th. Excuse me. Let's do that. Today's date, January the 8th. Yes, Friday, January the 8th. I'm going to be releasing a brand new video of a screencast that I did. We were talking about Scrivener earlier. It's a screencast that I did on how I used Scrivener to win NaNoWriMo 2015. And you don't want to miss that. I think it's going to be very exciting. So this week's 2 weeks, 2 videos are going to be released. That's the bonus video. That's going to be on Friday. It's going to release, I've got it scheduled to release at 9:30 a.m. Central Time. I think that's 10:30 Eastern Time. So definitely check that out. Sometime in the morning, check out my channel for how I use Scrivener to win NaNoWriMo. My thoughts on how I use Scrivener, how I've been using it for the last few months, the last year actually, and how I used it a little bit differently during NaNoWriMo to strategize and help me win that. So that's going to be released this Friday, January the 8th. Really good thoughts on Scrivener. I think you're going to enjoy it. It's about a 45-minute video. And once again, you can just speed through it if you need to using the settings in your YouTube player. All right. We'll see you guys later. Thanks so much for watching today. It's been a beautiful day outside, and we hope wherever you're at that God is richly blessing, and that He will richly bless you in your goals and ideas to become a better you, become a better person for other people, and just enjoy life at its fullest in 2016. Thanks so much, and I'll see you guys later. From me to you, God bless.